Okay, listen up. What you have in your possession, what you're listening right now, is the Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast, Time Warp Phenomena. I'm recording this at 9:26 p.m. on Wednesday, October 4. You get it on October 5. So anything could happen between right now and when you actually listen to this. I mean, you may not listen to this on October 5th. You might listen to it a month later or like a year from now. It's fucking phenomenal. I could be dead for a year when you finally check this out. It's kind of, like that with all of these. But in particular, when I make a show, because I won't actually be there for Thursday, October 5, because I'm taking time off. Well, by God, that's just bizarre to me. We used to make best of shows before, back in the Free Beer and Hot Wing Show days, and like host them, pre-record and shit like that. And that was when we tried. Gone are those days with that show. But this show is not about me ripping them a new asshole. No. This is a Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. Now, I have carefully curated some of the most incredible moments taken from my Patreon. Heard years ago. Okay? There's probably things on here that are so dated. Maybe even a wear your mask rant could be in your possession. I have no idea. So when I say I've carefully curated the material, I've basically just grabbed the audio and said, fuck it, this looks good. That's exactly what I've done here. Thank you for listening to it. Check it out. It's like a time capsule of audio, blah, blah, blah. Enjoy the Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. I will join you back. I will check back in with some great sponsor messages that I know you will not hit the 15-second ahead button repeatedly. No, you would never do that. All right. Enjoy Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. Oh, shit.
Hi, this is Kate.
Hi, this is
otherwise
Kate.
known as the Duchess of New Jersey. When I'm not busy hanging out at the beach, telling people off, or watching someone pump gas for me, I listen to the Eric Zane Show podcast.
Yeah.
And now I'd like to introduce the star of the show.
Eric
Zane.
Eric Zane.
It's riveting.
Look at that. Dirk's is still thinking of you. Still thinking of you. I appreciate that, Dirk. Not going to slow me down in my, I know what you, I saw what you did there. Let's get things totally back to normal. He's implying the whole business about the passing of my mother 1 year ago. He also recently lost his mother. So he's been through this. That was a little bit of a weird day on Saturday, being that 1 year. And it was crazy. The amount of things that have happened in the world and just the speed at which they happened. It's just a remarkable thing. I still am in shock over the passing of my mother. I just cannot believe that actually happened. Okay, but that's not going to keep me from beating you up, Dirk. I see what you tried to do there to me. The announcement that just came across the news not long ago that Colin Powell, former Secretary of State, the General Colin Powell, who he has died, COVID, and then Dirk writes, fully vaxxed. Why? Why do you do what you do? Why can't you just say Colin Powell died of COVID? Why do you have to write fully vaxxed as if that's supposed to mean something? Are you suggesting that the vaccine is not effective in keeping people from dying? Is that what you're suggesting there? Why would you write that on a one-line email Colin Powell is dead. Fully vaxxed. What's the point of including that? I mean, I know why you did that. You did that to try to, like, insinuate that the vaccination is not helpful. I mean, never before has that been more obvious. That's what you were trying to do. And you know as well as I do, whether you choose to admit it or not, that the vaccine is incredibly important to keep all of you knuckleheads alive. Okay? To keep you free from hospitals and ventilators, and for you to be a vessel to allow for another mutation to process. And then, maybe the next one of you morons is the host for the mutation that puts this at a 10% mortality rate. Can you imagine the number of death with a 10% mortality rate? It's like 1% now, and that's bad enough. So keep it up. Keep it up, funny boy. Yes, go for it. You might be the catalyst. Okay? Not to mention, sorry, Mr. Cardiac arrest patient. We can't put you in intensive care because Dirk's here. So I know what you're doing. Yeah, it was fully vaxxed, so clearly the vaccine is not effective. I know what you're doing. Okay? I wasn't born yesterday. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I know what you're up to. You're an absolute troublemaker. Just trying to get under my skin with your nonsense. Let's hope and pray that you dumbasses see the light and will admit, I love the fact, you see all these, every time I hear about these hospitals that are firing people in mass, today it's the Chicago cops. All these Chicago cops are fucking, they can't show up to work if they don't get, I'm like, yes, thank God for that. Makes me so happy. Makes me so happy when these people are die. Hey, I saw one that said, that's a weird hill to die on, but at least you're dead. Holy crap. Sorry, I normally send a little thing. Hey, guys, I'm going live, but I couldn't do that today because I forgot. I was a little bit rushed. So I had to get the show started early today because I need to, I've got a number of things that have unfolded for today that have made me as busy as I always am. But there you go. Dirk says, still thinking of you. And then he wrote, oh, sorry, I wasn't considering your mom's passing. Couldn't remember the date. I was referring to the pics I sent you. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Weren't you? Dirk sent me a number of pictures while he was out at the, I guess, at one of the amusement parks where he lives. Hey, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Dirk writes this. As much as I bust his balls, he's very important to me. That's why I get so angry at him that he's so ridiculously wrong about all this COVID shit. Couldn't be more wrong. Why do you have to be such a thick-skulled conspiracy theorist dumb shit? Why? Stop it. Come on, man. Considering that you've had this this virus, if you get vaccinated, you realize you're like super strong. You're super safe from the threat of reinfection. Anyway, moving on. Dirk, who likes to hate listen to my friends at the Free Beer and Hot Wings show. Apparently, the shit has hit the fan on the Free Beer and Hot Wings show today. Apparently. He writes this. I just tuned in to Free Beer and Hot Wings. He sent this along at 6:55 in the morning. They're doing best of Free Beer, Hot Wings, and Kelly. Hold on a second. Dirk writes, I've had the virus. Science shows I'm better than being vaxxed, but not better than virus and vaxxed. Okay? True. If a person had to choose between antibodies or vax, you're right. Antibodies makes you stronger. But if you have antibodies and vax, you're stronger than everybody. So go ahead and get the vaccine and you'll be good. Okay? Anyway, no more comments because I don't want to get distracted anymore. Dirk, shut up. Steve and, okay, no Freeber, no Hot Wings, no Kelly. But Steve and Joe are. Rachel is working the board for free beer. So Steve and Joe are in there. Rachel, the phone screener, is running the board for free beer. But no Hot Wings. And no Kelly. And then he writes, I wish I caught the video. Steve was eating what looked like cereal, pulling his mask over his nose between bites as if COVID couldn't catch each spoonful. Time for a rumor. Free beer and Hot Wings pulling an Eiffel Tower on Kelly. That's horrible, Dirk. What the hell? Apparently, a couple of people weren't feeling good. So, quote, out of an abundance of caution, they're doing a best of. Apparently, they're getting tested. Or waiting for results today. And everyone, that's hilarious. Well, him eating the cereal in between mask lifts is hilarious. Interesting. We shall see. That's because they got 800 people on that show. Josh wrote, I thought I saw that Kelly's partner tested positive. Oh, well, okay. Well, that would explain that then. I don't know. Who knows? All you need to know is you've got some side-splitting best of material, best of around the room, and things like that. All right. Adam says he loved the apparently little kid. I just saw a thing that he is still, he's actually turned out to, the apparently kid is still doing things. He didn't become like a childhood actor or something like that, but he's actually has been able to parlay that into a career. Speaking of things that you can view and check out, I just started watching, I'm actually about halfway through, Dave Chappelle's The Closer, which is his Netflix special that had been being talked about quite a bit. And what a really, really, really fantastic thing this is. The guy is just awesome. There is nothing that this guy does that I don't, or that I dislike. I've loved everything this guy has done, and it seems as he gets further and further along into his life, he's getting that much more biting and cutting and hilarious and on point. Oh my God, is he great? And the way he delivers what he's thought and then written down, and then, okay, this is where I'm going to go with this. It's so fucking sweet. Oh my God, does he have a way of making a point? I cannot stress this enough. You must watch. If you don't have Netflix, get it and watch Dave Chappelle, The Closer. Filmed in beautiful Detroit. He loves Detroit. He does a bit about what he likes about women, and I'll probably spoil a little bit of this. He lives in a small community in Ohio. And the bit is, why do you live in this small community in Ohio? I think it's called Yellow Springs or something like that. And he goes, I'll tell you why I live. I live in a small little town because they have the most beautiful women on the planet in this town. And there's like a population of like 700 people in this town where he lives. And then, and you're like, wait, what? He goes, because I love white women with dirty feet. And then it just takes off from there. And fucking A, God, this is a perfect example of like when I'm watching it, I didn't really laugh. Because whenever I'm really engaged in something fantastic, I don't actually sit there and crack up laughing. I'm more like, oh man, because, I've seen a lot of shit that has made me laugh over the years. So it's just, I just grin and just am in awe and just happy when I see someone doing with such expertise something that he does, and everything's landing and everything's spectacular and the audience is so into it. And I don't necessarily sit there and laugh. I just am in awe of the hit rate on all of these fucking jokes. And then he doesn't. Okay, there's been a lot of talk about Dave Chappelle and him and the controversy he's caused amongst gay people and people who are transgendered. And you just got to hear him explain himself and talk about how he feels the way he feels and the way he does it. Holy shit. It is just ridiculously effective, funny, on point, charming. I don't know how you can be a member of that community and take offense, like actually really be upset wanting him canceled after you hear what the fucking man has to say. If you would just give him the time and hear him out on this, you'd understand what the fuck he's getting at. And I'm just so happy that the world does not do what it does to people who speak their minds in the way that he has. And I don't know, maybe it's because he's so much better at it. The thoughtful way at which he is speaking his piece about how he feels about people in the LGBTQ plus whatever. I think I got it all there. Community. And fucking A. I mean, he says some really offensive things that I guess they can be offended by it because he says nasty words and refers to people as things like dyke and tells them to suck his dick and shit like that. But it's fucking great. And I did burst out laughing at the things he says to these poor people. Anyway, I don't want to say poor people because he talks about how successful their movement has been. And then he talks about at length about how he loves gay people, but not the new age gay people. And that's all I am going to say about this because I am not qualified to say anything else. You must watch it. Of all the things I've watched recently, and I don't really watch a whole ton of stuff, to be honest with you, but I can say unequivocally that I think it is absolutely brilliant. All right. How about this? Jonah Hill is kind of a fucking twat. He has transformed his body, and he posts pictures of him looking strong and fit and energetic on his Instagram. Okay? And I think it kind of goes without saying that if at some point in your life, if you are massively overweight, and then, I mean, it's one thing if you lose a little bit of weight. You have to be careful if you go up to a person and say, oh my God, you look great. Because, you know, people are sensitive and they might be like, well, did I look like shit before? And, well, yeah, maybe you did. But now you who gives a shit about that? Because now you look great. Now it looks like you're really working hard. It's difficult because nowadays people take that shit like it's a bad thing to say. And so when someone says, oh my God, I can't get over the fact you look like, look, at the end of the day, you can throw all the equality out in the world. But I mean, if everybody had their choice, they wouldn't choose to be in a bad spot health-wise because of their weight. They would choose to be little. They would choose to be fit and trim. I don't give a shit what you tell me. I don't give a shit what you tell me about curvy is beautiful. I'll show you somebody behind those curves who wishes that they weren't that way. Okay? And I'm not here to indict anybody about anything. I'm just telling you that behind every person who's big, fat, and curvy, deep down, they wish they weren't. Jonah Hill put in the work and now is lean and mean. And you can tell because he posts about it all over his Instagram. There's pictures of him with the shirt off, flexing, showing off his tattoos. And he looks like a different guy, and still incredibly skilled in his field of acting, things like that, and hosting, whatever it is he may do. But apparently he doesn't like it when people tell him how good he looks. And apparently he has posted, going forward, no one is allowed to make any comments to me, whether they are good or bad, about how I look. This article says Jonah Hill politely asks his followers on Instagram not to comment on his body, good or bad. Okay. First of all, if you do that, there is no way that is going to work out. If you say, hey, I would like you to no longer make any comments about my body. I know I'm a public figure and I'm incredibly famous and popular, and I know that on my Instagram I am posting pictures of me with my shirt off, but I am asking that you no longer comment on my body, even if they're good comments or they're bad comments. Well, if you weren't getting bad comments before, you're going to get them now. And the world is full of trolls, so you're going to get even more comments now. So that is what a stupid move that is. I mean, if I suddenly said to you guys, look, hey, I don't want you guys to make any more comments about the size of my nose. Oh, my God. That's going to be a problem. That's going to be nose joke after nose joke after nose joke. If Dirk says to me, look, I don't want you to call me out anymore about how stupid I am because I'm an anti-vaxxer, that's going to be a problem for Dirk. Like there was one time that dumbass said to me, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. And I said, okay. Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. That's open. That is a cue to me. That's your name is in lights. I'm like, oh my God, you've got a target on your fucking face. If you tell me something, that's why I call him QAnon Dirk, because he tells me he's not. That's why I said that he beats off to Alex Jones' podcast. Hey, man, let's go piss up a rope. I don't really like Alex Jones. Ah! I know that. That's why I'm saying it, because I know it pisses you off. That's the fucking point. That's what a troll does. That's a skill. Consider yourself lucky. You're blessed. You've earned that. So when you tell the world, please don't make any comments about my body. Well, Sharon Stone, Basic Instinct flashed her muff on screen. She posted right after that, can I say you look good because you do, with a fire emoji. And then, all the triggered, woke crybabies got so pissed off about this. First of all, who the fuck do you think you are, Jonah Hill? How the fuck can you post pictures of yourself and with your shirt off, showing the world your tattoo, and you were a fat, disgusting, roly-poly piece of shit, and now you're not? Who the fuck gets mad when people give them compliments? I'm not going to lie to you. If at some point in time I get in shape, I am going to take every opportunity to show you my guns, okay? I am going to say, guess what I did today? I benched 200 pounds. You're going to know about it because I'm fucking proud of that shit. And if somebody says, damn, Eric Zane, you're looking fine, I'm going to say, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. That's what normal people do. But this fucking moron says, no more compliments. I don't want to compliment. What an asshole. And so these crybaby Generation Zers, millennials, fire back because she said something nice to him. What the fuck is going on? You say something nice about somebody and then people say you're an asshole because of that? Fuck you. The replies said, read the room, Sharon Stone. He literally just said, no, Sharon Stone. Sheesh. It would be amazing if you could delete this comment and learn how to read. If I'm Sharon Stone, I'm sending pictures, GIFs of her when she opened her legs on Basic Instinct and tag it with, Jonah looks so good. I want to give him some of this. You know, you remember that clip when she, you could actually see the meat? Remember that? It was like, what the, oh my God. Who was that? Michael Douglas? He's like, that was incredible. However, one person did point out that she wasn't commenting on his body, but just saying he looks good. Well, that's commenting on his body. Hill, 37, said, I know you mean well, but I kindly ask that you not comment on my body. Good or bad, I want to politely let you know it's not helpful and doesn't feel good. Much respect. Well, what a fucking kook. It doesn't feel good when someone tells you you look good. You're a dick. You are a fucking dick. Wow. This article from page 6 in the New York Post they're siding with Jonah Hill. But like a kooky Ann at Thanksgiving, 63-year-old Sharon Stone seemingly could not stop herself from paying the unwanted compliment. The Superbad star's weight gains and losses have been tabloid and social media fodder over the years. Recently, he was opening up to his fans and friends on social media about his physical and mental health. He posted earlier this year, I don't think I ever took my shirt off in a pool until I was in my mid-30s. Even in front of my family and friends. Probably would have happened sooner if my childhood insecurities weren't exacerbated by years of public mockery about my body by press and interviewers. I'm 37 and I finally love and accept myself. You look great, dick. Relax. This is disgusting. What a pussy. What a horrible human being this is. Dirk writes, looking for attention? Kind of like, hey, WATP, whatever you do, please don't review my little podcast. I'll send you an email asking you not to as well. That is not what happened. It did not happen like that at all. I did not ask him not to review the podcast. That is not at all what happened. You have assumed something, you dirty, filthy scumbag. From earlier, anti-vaxxer Dirk writes, I'm not anti-vaxxer. I'm anti-rushed. It hasn't been rushed. Hasn't been extensively tested. It has been extensively tested. Vaccines. You are an anti-vaxxer. Okay. You always will be. You're a conspiracy theory. You're a bloody kook. That's what you are. Rob says he doesn't love himself, no matter how much he says he does. Anyone who says they do doesn't. Okay, whatever. Rob talking about Dirk says, point proven. Worried about long-term effects. Paranoid of the thing that's going to keep you alive. Yeah, Rob, we know. He's a lunatic. He always has been. He always will be. He's an absolute kook. We love him, but he is knocking. He's banging on the door of the Herman Cain household. We all know this to be true. I hate to do this to you, but I'm cutting out early. I'm doing a third podcast today, The Creep Off. You'll be able to find it at thecreepoffpod.com. Have a good one, folks. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pausing the action, taking a break. I'm not really taking a break. I'm just mentioning the sponsors. Okay? Because at the end of the day, if I don't have sponsors that trust me to peddle their wares, I have no show. Because if they pay me for this shit. Oops, sorry, O'Neill. I just totally dropped a leg drop on O'Neill. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, I talk about them. They give me cash. You then go to the sponsors. Support the sponsors. It's that simple. You don't support the sponsors, this show just nosedives. All right. First one that comes to mind is my pal Frank Fuss, My Policy Shop Insurance. Now, there's about 1,000,001 things I can focus on, particularly about Frank, that, can help you. But the one that is on top of everybody's mind is the change in the law so that now when you have your insurance from your boss, your job, they pay for your insurance. It doesn't cost you that much. But if you add in your wife, your 3 kids, all of a sudden you're in for, I don't know, $700-800 a month. And by the way, it's insurance that your boss picks. You might get the choice of plan, but, there's not a lot of options for you. However, new this year, you can do this and it can save you hundreds. You keep your insurance from your boss, but the rest of your family can get a policy through the marketplace /Obamacare/healthcare.gov. You didn't know that, did you? Now, why this is important is, first of all, they can get into a better policy. Second of all, the way the government does this, Obamacare, is they offer a tax subsidy. Translation, they pay for a good portion of your monthly premium. As long as you do not go past a certain income threshold, and it is quite high, frankly. Frank will tell you all about it. Frankly, Frank will tell you all about it. That's what I said. Yep. And then what that means is the tax subsidy means you don't pay nearly as much as you would for the premium each month than you would if you were doing it through your employer. That will save you hundreds of dollars a month. All you need to do is go to buyinsurancehere.com and set up an appointment with Frank, either by phone. He'll come to you. It's face-to-face, whatever. Go to the coffee shop. Doesn't matter. Frank will walk you through it every step of the way. You will answer some questions. You pay Frank nothing for this, and off you go. You're welcome. Frank Fuss, check him out. You go to buyinsurancehere.com, buyinsurancehere.com. Okay. One more here. My pal Mario from the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. That's Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. I'm talking weird. I feel like I'm drunk. Anywhere in the U.S., get your mortgage from Mario. Mention your old pal EZ. No matter where you are, whatever state you're in, doesn't matter. First mortgage, 10th mortgage, refi, getting cash out of your home so you can buy something like a motorcycle. Or I don't know, ring for your mistress, whatever. 231-332-6505. The Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. All right, back to more of Not the Best of, the Eric Zane Show podcast.
Hello, this is Rick from TC Paintball. You're listening to The Eric Zane Show,
Podcast.
A show where the host makes the audience create intros, complains about them, and then refuses to play the correct ones. And now, because I'm required to, here's Eric Zane.
Now, was that so hard? Welcome in. Sometimes when you're trying to hunt someone down via the phone, that can be fun. Earlier today, I tried to get Bill Simonson to join me, and he's ducking me because he knows I'm going to say mean things to his face about a stupid prediction that he made about your Detroit Lions, and it's just been way too long since he's been on the show. But I don't know. I got the feeling that he's ducking me. All right. Fine. Kanye West has changed his name. This is really disgusting to me. This is what happens when you get so damn rich that your brain just becomes mush. To me, there's nothing better than a person who has all the money in the world and they talk just like you and me. Well, probably more like you than me. You probably have more sense than me. But there's something to be said about the ultra-rich person that doesn't believe their own hype. They just live modestly. Who's that one guy? One of the richest men on the planet. Warren Haynes, or whatever his name is. Jimmy Buffett. Warren Buffett. I knew that. I was just screwing with you. Warren Buffett. Doesn't that guy live very meagerly? Warren Buffett. The Oracle of Omaha. Is that what he's known as? I actually know more about this guy than I thought I even knew. I know his nickname, for God's sake. Money hasn't destroyed that man. And too often, money makes you just do stupid things. Act like an asshole. Okay? I don't need money to act like an asshole. I just generally act like an asshole. You know? That's kind of why you're here, right? This fucker has changed his name. Who was Kanye West is now known, and I say it like this, Y-E, because I'm not positive how he pronounces it. So Kanye, the last two letters are Y and E, Kanye. Does that mean now he is just yay? Or is that ye? Or yeah? If it was yay, wouldn't he write it out as Y-A-Y? Yay? Instead of the stupid way to pronounce yay, Y-E? I don't know. So, if you were to ask him, let's just say, for the sake of this discussion, he was sitting right here and I said, hey, how do you pronounce this? I wouldn't just get him answering me. He wouldn't just say yay or ye or yeah. He'd give me a long-winded, too thoughtful answer on something that requires really no thought. Just, I don't give a shit. Just tell me how the fuck are we supposed to pronounce this? And why? What's the reasoning behind it? Like when Chintz. I called Prince Chintz. I combined Prince and changed and gave you Chintz. Fuck me. When Prince changed his name to a symbol, that was over a dispute with the record company. This is not the case with West. This dick petitioned the court on August 24th, citing personal reasons for the change. This is not the easiest thing in the world to do to change your name. There's a lot of red tape you have to go through. Man, what the fuck? Of all the things in the world to spend your time on, you're so incredibly rich that you're wasting all of this time and energy on changing your fucking name. And what does that even do? A Los Angeles judge yesterday approved the request of the rapper, producer, and fashion designer to legally change his name to just Ye, with no middle or last name. So now if anybody calls him Kanye, does that mean that, he's going to have a temper tantrum or some shit like that? He's 44 years old. My God. He's called himself Ye on his social media pages for years. He tweeted in 2018 that he wanted the change, saying, the being formerly known as Kanye West, I am Ye. What an embarrassment to think of yourself in such a preposterous way. The pretentiousness that goes along with that, this inflated view of yourself. My God. Okay. While I have you here, it's like, I've been enjoying these chips, and you're probably like, what is he doing? Is he doing a commercial for these chips? These will change your life. And this is not a commercial. I just said, my God, I love these so much. I eat so many fucking bags of these chips. And they sell them at my Costco, and I don't know if they sell them at your Costco, but if they do, you must buy these fucking things. The brand is called Food Should Taste Good. And look, it says multi-grain tortilla chips, and they look like that. I think that's an octagon shape, right? And they got the little guac on there, and I don't eat them with anything. And all these little black little flecks, those are like sesame seed and flax seeds. So it says baked in flax seeds, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, and quinoa. So this shit they claim is good for you. And I don't give a shit about any of that because they taste so fucking good. I don't care if these things are good for me. And let's be honest, it's full of carbohydrate, calories. So, it's probably not the best thing. And I eat the shit out of these things. Ugh. Salted perfectly. Oh, man. I highly recommend those. Kyler says, yeah, those on spinach dip are dangerous. Tarantula Farmer says, who cares about Kanye or Ye? Look at Bruce, with Bruce being all on his back. As of right now, though, he has rolled back onto his side. Mm-hmm. Yes. Too many Weight Watcher points. Patriot Nick writes, speaking of chips, Eric, do you still have the one chip challenge? Okay, I do, and I just handled them yesterday in the box and put them, because I was cleaning out this closet behind me. And so it is in a garbage bag destined for the can outside, but not yet outside. So I can still dig them out of this plastic bag that's still in my house. If anybody wants those fucking things, I will give them to whomever. All right? I do not want those in my house, Sam I am. So, I'm not going to mail it to you, but if you want it, maybe I'll mail it to you. I owe Adam Knapp a record. I got to mail him he's like, I gave up. I got to do so much shit. I did send Saul his money, though, and I did pay Andrea and Jason yesterday via Venmo. And I did pay Kenny, so I'm knocking them off one after the other. Rob says you should see if the chip lights up when you put a match to it. Adam says hand them out as Halloween candy. Oh, boy, no thanks. No thanks. All right, hang on. Need a drink of water. It's just beautiful here in Michigan. The temperature is just perfect. It's cold in the morning, but it is absolutely awesome. Beautiful. The Duchess says, I hope you donated the $25 from Smarter Than a Drug Dealer Trivia to AT. Well, hell yeah, I did. Saul wanted his cash, though. I sent Saul his cash. I don't ever want you guys to feel bad if any of you say, send me the money. That's what it's there for. That would be criminal if a kid got into the one chip challenge. Adam says, I have my first appointment since my surgery later on today. My chip is ready and waiting on their approval. What are you doing? Okay. So I teased this story on the free podcast. Boy, this really backfired. This kid, and, I hate to judge a book by his cover, but this is a weird-looking kid. Long, crazy-ass hair. He's skinny as shit. He just looks like a guy that would do something like this. He said originally that the reason why he made a Columbine-style school shooting threat last month was to get school canceled. The plan backfired, though, for Daniel Dakota Weber, 17-year-old. He was arrested on September 24th for allegedly vowing to launch the attack on Lorena High School, where he is a senior. Cops tracked it down. They got a warrant to search his phone. They're like, all right, let's see if you made the call. And they, of course, found that out. But how would you like to be the cop who grabs the phone and then while he's investigating, analyzed the device and found it contained several videos of Daniel Dakota Weber having sex with a dog in a motel room? According to the arrest affidavit reviewed by the paper in Waco, Texas, Weber told the cops he made the threat on Instagram because he wanted school to be canceled for the day. That's when they got the warrant to go after him. His bond was raised from $15,000 to $20,000 for the bestiality charge. In Texas, bestiality is punishable by up to 2 years in state prison. Much too short for my liking. He should get much more than that. But so if you're Daniel Dakota Weber, what started out as a not so well thought out plan to get out of school by threatening a school shooting, and then you can very easily, avoid that trouble by, first of all, not doing that. Second of all, maybe do it and not on Instagram, for God's sake. But forget that. Once they determine that you didn't really mean it and you're just an idiot, and no doubt facing charges for that. But now you have to deal with having sex with a dog. So let's just look back. One day before, he was just a jilted kid going to school and didn't want to go to school anymore. The next day, everybody knows he's a dog fucker. So if this kid, there are people in the school that might have been friends with this kid. Probably not. You know the type. You see, every time I hear about there should be no bullying in school, 99% of the time I agree with that. But then I'm like, well, now wait a minute. This one probably is worth bullying. There could be an argument to be made that it's okay to bully the kid who abuses animals and has sex with dogs, right? All right. So I went ahead and looked up this school, Lorena High School, and I see where it is. And I'm not going to call the school itself because that usually results in a lot of dead ends. But if I was looking at the map of the school, and around the school there's various restaurants, fast food restaurants, and places like that are right near, within a quarter mile, half mile away from this school. So the idea is make some phone calls to these businesses and see if any of these people know this dog fucker. So figured we'd get to the bottom of that.
Thank you for calling Sonic and Lorena. This is Jill. May I help you?
Hi, Jill. This is Eric Zane from the Eric Zane Show podcast. Do you
Okay.
Are you familiar with the Daniel Dakota Weber story?
Okay.
Are you familiar with that story at Lorena High School?
Yes, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh! I'm just calling to get the pulse of the community. What are your thoughts on this?
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean seriously, it was bad enough about blowing up the school, but then you get the animals involved. What the hell?
Right.
Have you ever served him at Sonic?
No.
Okay, so you don't recognize that. So if he came in looking for a burger, what would you do? Would you serve him?
I would have to.
Oh God, that's a tough thing. You'd probably want to spit on the food.
Yeah, but you can't do that.
No, I get it. Okay, hey, thank you for the time.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
You too, bye.
Chicken Arena.
Hey, how are you? Is this the chicken place?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry to bother you. Hey, this is Eric Zane. I'm on the Eric Zane Show podcast. And I was just calling, doing some Pulse of the City investigation about this kid, Daniel Dakota Weber from Lorena High School.
Oh yeah, I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay. All right. He was some kid who he threatened to blow up the school, and then they went to his phone. They found pictures of him having sex with a dog.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I don't know nothing.
You didn't hear that? Okay, probably best. Okay, well, if you see a scraggly-looking kid who looks like he likes to have sex with dogs, don't serve him.
Oh, okay.
All right, thanks. You see it. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hey, sorry to bother you. This is Eric Zane from the Eric Zane Show podcast calling you. And I was doing some follow-up, Pulse of the City, on Daniel Dakota Weber from Lorena High School. Have you been following that story?
Hello?
Yeah, hey, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know this story of Daniel Dakota Weber?
I don't know. Why?
Well, he was the guy who at the high school. Did you hear that annoyance? All right. I don't know why. Hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know this story of Daniel Dakota Weber?
I don't know. Why?
Well, he was the guy who at the high school, he threatened to blow up the school. And when the cops looked at his phone, they saw pictures of him having sex with a dog.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was just kind of like seeing if you knew anything about it. Maybe if you had any input about this ridiculous story.
Oh, no. I have no idea.
Okay. So if you see a guy coming in there that looks like he has sex with a dog, are you going to serve him? What are you going to do?
Well, I wouldn't know what a guy like that looks like because I have no idea.
Okay. Well, he's white. He's got stupid hair, and I don't know. He just looks like a guy. If you have an inkling that someone has sex with a dog, I want you to throw him right out of there.
I'm sorry. Are you calling the right location? This is a restaurant.
Yeah, I know. But you're right by the high school, right?
Oh, okay. So you're just warning us.
Yeah, I'm letting you know that if this guy comes in there looking for some food and he down the road he's going to try to blend back in, just know that he has sex with a dog.
Oh wow. What is he wearing? Do you know?
Well, I don't know what he's wearing right now. I'm just telling you, it's a news story. So, it's kind of big over it was in the Waco Tribune Herald. So, Daniel Dakota Weber is his name. He was arrested in the end of September.
Daniel Dakota, right?
Weber, correct. Look it up.
Daniel Dakota Weber?
Correct.
Okay, let me look him up.
Yep, you look it up and you'll see a picture of this guy. And if you recognize him, you'll be like, hey, he's been in here before. I know exactly who he is. The reason why I figured is because it's close to...
He's young?
Yes, he is young. He wanted to get off school, so he called in like he was going to shoot up the school. He called in a threat. Police figured it out. They checked his phone, and they found pictures of him doing gross things with a dog. And he's
wow.
He's right by you, so,
Okay. Oh, well, thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, what's the special today?
We have crispy taco plate, and we also have the... we have the crispy taco plate and the beef fajita plate today.
So you're telling me if I spend $10, I can get a great lunch?
I think so.
Okay, well, I love it. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, watch out for the guy who has sex with dogs.
Okay.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. All right, that's it. During that, mother hen Kate in New Jersey wrote, "She sounds too young for this conversation with Eric." Oh, no. She was completely old enough for that conversation with Eric. It was a warning. Poor girl. LOL. Eric, that was creepy. That was creepy, Eric. Screw you. Stop it, Eric. The fuck it was. What? I mean, she didn't even know about it. I didn't have sex with the dog. All I did, that's the equivalent of her reading the newspaper, me informing this kid, this young lady. I don't even know how the fuck old she is. You're sitting there assuming she's like a 10-year-old, for fuck's sake. And I'm just telling you that wasn't a big deal. She's a child, Eric. What did I do? Just because I called and said, look out for this kid. She even looked it up right there on her phone. It's like, holy fuck, look at, yeah, I see him. He's young. Holy shit. So she should be thanking me. Yeah, could be a teenager, I'm guessing. 18, 19 years old. Maybe 17, maybe 16. Who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck about her age? I'm calling to warn her. You guys are making it seem like I'm saying, yeah, okay, hey, let's go have sex with a dog. Would you want someone to discuss this with Maddie? I didn't discuss anything, Kate. I warned her. Would you want someone to discuss this with Maddie? If there was a guy who's a dog fucker that is in the room next door to Maddie, I absolutely would want a stranger to inform her that there's a dog fucker in the room next door so she can avoid said dog fucker. Okay? I did not have sex with the dog, and I didn't make her do anything that she didn't want to do to call her out of the blue at her job. Who gives a fuck? It's a public place. You got to warn these people. Don't kill me. I'm the messenger. Melissa says he saved her dog's innocence, Kate. See? Melissa gets it. Kate and her stupid bleeding heart. My God. Eric, I feel this is a conversation that can only happen properly over the phone. There you go. That's what Nick says. Kenny writes, what if the guy was planning on going there today and asking that girl out? Now she knows better. Perfect. See? Oh, my God. Stop it, Eric Zane. Unbelievable. Okay. So, you are hanging out with your newlywed, your bride, at your honeymoon. And, well, you end up, maybe wandering away from the fire. You're sitting there at a wilderness setting for your honeymoon, which does happen. Maybe people might want to get away from it all. This one happened in Ukraine's Carpathian Mountains. And husband of the bride-husband team, newly minted couple, decides to walk away from the fire for a minute. I don't know, have a smoke, maybe go get another White Claw or something like that. This was a belated honeymoon for Lydia and Norbert. Okay. One lady's Ukrainian, the other one's Hungarian. They share a home in the UK, and they traveled to Central Europe for their honeymoon. Believe it or not, while they were there was some other family members that were part of the festivities, the brothers of the bride. Okay. Well, Norbert, the husband, left the bonfire. It says to actually retrieve his camera. And while he was that distance away, something went wrong. You know, a 100-plus-year-old bomb went off. They had their campsite where they were having the fire was right in the same spot as a World War bomb that had not detonated was in the earth. And just a freaking crazy-ass scenario. The bomb went off. Oh, my God. I ran to the bonfire as fast as I could, screaming, Lydia, my wife's name, said Norbert. And his wife was badly injured, shrapnel having ripped through her legs, hands, and left eye. Oh, God. The woman's brother, Miroslav, he was 29. He died. And another dude died. It took they were so far out in the wilderness, it took an hour and a half for medical personnel to get to the scene. Holy shit. That's it. There's nothing more to this story. Just a fucking bomb went off. The bomb thought to have been planted during the Brusilov offensive in 1916. Tore through the Party of 12 in Ukraine's Carpathian Mountains last month. Oh, my God. Stories always break my heart. Somebody just gets married and then something terrible happens, like accident as they're on the way to the honeymoon or something like that. I don't even know why I'm telling you this story. This is horrible. I can't even make a joke anywhere. What is my problem? I better call that kid up and ask her more about the dog fucker. Jesus. All right. Paul McCartney has been in the news on this show in the past several days, and this one doesn't have anything to do with the feud with the Rolling Stones, but I do see an article in the Insider that talks about the first time he smoked pot. And the story goes that Bob Dylan introduced the Beatles to pot. And according to an article, this is actually an excerpt of his forthcoming memoir that was published in the Times of London. McCartney tells in this memoir when the Beatles were introduced to pot. It happened in a New York hotel room. Bob Dylan was there. It's all his fault. By the way, McCartney, later on in this article, says, I've been smoking pot, that whole time. From then all the way to just a few years ago is when he finally stopped smoking pot. According to Paul, quote, what happened, we were in a hotel suite, summer of 1964. Bob Dylan shows up with his roadie. He just released Another Side of Bob Dylan. I don't know what that is. That's a book, song, who knows. We're just drinking as usual, having a little party. We ordered drinks from room service. Scotch and Coke and French wine were our thing back then. And then Bob Dylan disappeared. McCartney wrote that Ringo disappeared a short time after that. And then Ringo comes walking back. Now, in this image in my head, they're all wearing matching suits, mop tops, young. McCartney says, well, Ringo was looking a bit strange. He said, I've just been with Bob Dylan, and he's got pot, or whatever we called it then. McCartney recalls. And we said, oh, what's it like? And Ringo said, well, the ceiling's kind of moving. It's sort of coming down. And that was enough. After Ringo said that, the other three of us all leapt into the back room where Bob Dylan was. And he gave us a puff on that joint. McCartney continued to write that he and his bandmates, quote, kept puffing away after their first hit because they didn't feel any reaction. Which ultimately enhance their experience. Now, Bob Dylan, who's probably a lot of experience in this at that time, while they kept like ripping on this thing, he's probably like, oh boy, I should tell him, but that's going to take a minute or two. Suddenly, it was working, Paul says, and we were giggling, laughing at each other. I remember George trying to get away, and I was sort of running after him. It was hilarious, like a cartoon chase. We thought, wow, this is pretty amazing stuff. And so it became part of our repertoire from that point on. McCartney concluded by explaining how the band acquired their own weed thereafter. To tell the truth, it just showed up, he said. There were certain people you could get it from. You just had to know who had it. Throughout the years, he's been one of the most prominent weed smokers in the 80s. For example, he was notably arrested while touring in Japan when customs officials discovered half of a pound of pot in his luggage. McCartney spent 10 nights in Japanese prison before being released and deported from Japan. But he said in 2015, he quit smoking. Unbelievable. I remember when I was in high school, we're such dorks. We decided that we wanted to take caffeine pills. And similarly, I took a caffeine pill and I didn't feel any different. So I kept eating them, like a lot of them. And then when they really started to affect me, I'll never forget how sick I got. Because, you got to fucking wait. Oh, I was awake for like 2 days after that. It was really ridiculous. Rob says they upgraded to acid later on. All right. Unbelievable. Apparently, did I have static on the microphone? I apologize if I did. It sounded good on my end. Sorry. It happens. Don't know what causes it. It might be a bad mic cable. It might be. Will I do anything with it? Probably not. All right. Okay, folks, I appreciate you as always. That's going to do it. Patreon bonus podcast. Until next time, I thank you. Talk to you down the road. Bye-bye. Pause in the action on Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. A&E Heating and Cooling. I just got a message from Dono. This is the dude who took me to the Lions game last year. I love that guy so much. Actually, I took him to the Lions game, but he got me a ticket. Don always goes out of his way to support the sponsors. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That keeps me in business, baby. A&E Heating and Cooling. $79 furnace tune-up. Don't believe the hype by the other losers in town that are offering you this for $29 or $49, because once you get in there, they're going to set the hook. And they're going to tell you that your shit's broke and that you need to replace the whole thing because they're dicks. Joe will tune up your furnace and say, yeah, you got a lot of life in this thing. $79. There you go. You're not getting ripped off like those scumbags. A&E Heating and Cooling, 616-516-8579. Thank you, Joe Martinez. Also, Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. How about them? Legends in West Michigan. Family, veteran, lady owned. Prettiest set of smiles you'll see when you walk into there. Oh, my God, what a team. Mother-daughter, 616-532-6600 for Irvine's, ER Vines. That's ervines.com. They're the best. No matter where you're on in West Michigan, get your car to Irvine's for scheduled maintenance, preventative maintenance. If the thing goes kablooey. Also, don't forget, EV hybrids. They're number one. The dealers send the cars to Irvine's. 616-532-6600 for Irvine's. Okay, more of Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. Your old pal Eric Zane has breaking news.
Hello, this is Kate from New Jersey. When I'm not hanging out at the beach, telling people off, When I'm not hanging out at the beach or telling people off, I'm listening to the Eric Zane Show podcast. And now, here's the star of the show.
Hi, this is Kate,
Hi.
Otherwise known as the Duchess of New Jersey. When I'm not busy hanging out at the beach,
Telling people
off, or watching someone pump gas for me, I listen to the Eric Zane Show podcast.
It's riveting.
And now I'd like to introduce the star of the show, Eric Zane. It's riveting.
Yeah. So I don't see her in the chat right now, so she'll have to get that later. Apparently something's going down in Florida concerning Brian Laundrie. Chris and Roberta Laundrie, the mom and dad of Dude, ventured into Florida's, I can't say it, Myakkahatchee. I think I said that right. Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park early today, where Fox News Digital saw a cop tell parents that law enforcement, quote, might have found something. Steve Bertolino, who represents the Laundrie family, would not comment when asked by Fox News Digital if the Laundries were at the park at the request of law enforcement. Well, what? Of course they're there because of law enforcement. Do you think they're just, let's take a walk? The Laundries have claimed their son went to that park on September 13th, the day he was last seen. They left their home just before 17 this morning for that place where two men in hiking gear, including at least one who had later identified himself as a cop, began trailing behind them. The Laundries and one of the men appeared to discuss a discovery before the parents left the park, which was then closed to the media and the public. Whoa. In a worldwide exclusive video obtained by Fox News Digital shows the Laundries and the cop huddling and speaking as the officer appears to show the couple an unknown discovery. The officer appeared to tell the parents, I think we might have found something. I don't know if they read lips or whatever, or if you could hear that. During their time inside, Chris Laundrie could be seen continually moving in and out of areas of the brush. After a short while, he and Roberta Laundrie separated, with Chris and the two men moving into the brush on the left side of the trail for approximately 12 minutes. Dad returned without law enforcement, and the couple continued on. The Laundries later discovered a white bag and a dark-colored object after traveling through a patch of brambles at the edge of the brush at a clearing. They then could be seen putting the object into the bag and handing it over to the cops shortly thereafter, who later took it from them. Well, this all seems like doesn't seem like they're doing geocaching or anything like that, or fucking Pokemon Go. On their way out of the park, the couple made a phone call and then received a call. There they were soon joined by the cop, who could be seen patting Chris Laundrie's shoulder as he huddled with the couple. That's when the cop is saying, your murdering son is dead. The couple left the park at 8:45 a.m. and appeared emotional when confronted by protesters there. Oh, man, that was awkward. So basically, since this maniac killed Gabby Petito, people have just been hounding the mom and dad. Meanwhile, about a dozen, I'm, of course, assuming everything, but I think I'm safe in that assumption that this maniac has been located. Meanwhile, about a dozen cops and approximately 6 people in plain clothes could be seen entering the park, with several police or unmarked vehicles and gators seen entering, not alligators, like those, fucking, I don't know, were they super go-karts? I don't know. Jason Mays would know what a gator is. The Northport Mobile Command Center arrived at the park shortly after 10:30 a.m. local time. The laundries returned home shortly thereafter. A spokesman for Northport Police Department referred Fox News Digital to the FBI for comment, and the FBI wouldn't say nothing. Oh boy. While that investigation is going on, I was conducting my own investigation around the household here, something we talked about on the free podcast, and that would be the NFK's tendency to, heat up fettuccine Alfredo, eat it out of the container, and then very lazily wipe the inside of the container with a paper towel and put it back into the clean drawer where the Tupperware is. That was warranted. That warranted an immediate response. I had to say something. I cannot believe it's been 15 months and this has been going on, and I'm just now coming to the realization that this is a thing. So I'm like, hey, and I always have to approach these moments like this with that degree of sensitivity. Now, what I want to do, this is what I want to do. Now, this is therapy for me because then I get it out of my head. What I want to do is rush up to him and bash him in the face with the Tupperware as hard as I can and scream, what type of sick son of a bitch would put this after he eats out of it back into the clean drawer? What the fuck is going on in your brain that's making you think that that is acceptable? This is not Haiti. We have a sink that has water and a fucking dishwasher. And you don't even need to put it in there. I don't give a shit. Just put it in the sink. And then I'll know, and then I'll put it in. But why? Why the fuck would you think it would be appropriate to take a fucking paper towel and wipey and put that back? That is beyond fucked. Oh my God. What is it with just basic cleanliness in this dude? My God. So I said, hey, and again, I have to have this approach. This has to be my approach. I go, hey, Kevy, yeah, what's up? Yeah, shit, fuck. Yeah, hey, can you do me a favor? And then he knows it's coming whenever I start with that. And he's like, yeah. And because I usually have to, whenever I have to explain something to him, I get kind of a generalized fuck you attitude in his response. Now, if I did that, and someone told me that, I would be like, oh, yeah, you're right. I am so sorry. But he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, and just kind of like snottily answers me. So, in order to keep this above board, I go, hey, can you do me a favor? So, and I'm holding the container. And I go, these containers that you put your food in and then you put in the fridge? Yeah. Yeah, when you're done eating out of those, you don't bother wiping it out and putting it back in the drawer. Just put it in the sink and I'll take care of it. You don't have to do anything. Just set it right in the sink. Do not put it back in the drawer. Now, I couldn't be more clear. We will see if this works, because there have been many times that I have said things to him that are the simplest things, and it just doesn't happen. And this guy is all about rituals. So I'm like, well, let's add these things to the ritual. Let's mix in asshole washing and hand washing and just generally not being so disgusting. Can we? I mean, I have to take care of you for decades, and I'm glad to do it. I'm beyond excited. It's fine. It's okay. What's mine is yours. But for fuck's sake, will you please wash your asshole more regularly and not do gross shit that I keep telling you not to do? Oh my God. Rob writes, was the original Doobie Brothers house condemned and demolished? Yes, it was. Actually torn to the ground. The house that it's worth repeating. Diana's dad lived in a really, really expensive part of town, but he was not wealthy. But many decades ago, he bought this house and paid it off quickly by working 2 jobs. Birmingham, Michigan is like the richest neighborhood in all of the state. If you have any property in in Birmingham, Michigan, just the property alone is worth a ton. He dies. The home is now David and Kevin and Diana's. Diana made the mistake of not making them buy her out because they wanted to continue living in that home. She was, go ahead. Well, then they destroyed the home, And then Diana, we got them out of there finally. And then my dad repaired the home. And then the home, for whatever reason, I think it was sold on a short sale. So, not nearly as much as it was worth. The bank bought it and then sold it to some builder who then fucking ripped it to the ground. And the house that's on it now, on the piece of property now, is like a $800,000 house. Diana got smoked on the deal. It was awful. So they just destroyed that house. It was so bad. And I remember screaming at these 2 knuckleheads for how they lived. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. Horrible. Rob says, just hearing this makes me want to take a shower right now. Yeah, tell me about it. I got to live with them, man. Rob says, I was just joking around, then whammo. No, yeah, ripped it to the ground. The bank bought it and just destroyed it. Okay, hang on. If they would have not let that house go into foreclosure and just took care of it, they could have sold the house to a builder who would have torn it down and built another house on it because it was a really old house. But they could have sold it for probably about $350,000. Boy. That's why I don't feel bad when he says, I'll pay for the groceries. Okay. All right. But I digress. You ever see these stories about people scamming the elderly on romance schemes? You get an old person gets into an online type of relationship with someone. They think it's the greatest thing in the world. And then they're really dealing with a scam artist who's going to steal their money. I think I know someone who was involved in one of these. Who was that? Was it a listener's relative? Is this ringing a bell with any of you? I cannot remember, but there was who was it? Shit. Someone in my circle has a mother whose mother is in a relationship with a scam artist who's just, hey, I need money. And then, doing it that way. Well, the FBI has finally been able to make some headway. I'm looking at a picture of all these guys that look like Charlie Murphy, darkness, in handcuffs. Nearly 35 Nigerians have been charged by the Federal Bureau of Investigation in a pair of unsealed indictments accusing the suspects of defrauding victims out of at least $17 million. If an old person gets involved romantically with one of these people, the rest of the family is going to try to talk them out of it. They're not going to hear you because they're convinced that the person on the other side of the computer is their true found love. It's really sad, actually. You just want to smack the shit out of them for believing something that's so stupid. It's almost like, if there's a way you could maybe somehow get ahead of this by explaining to the elderly that, hey, this is a thing, and let them know before they start to get like feelings for some Nigerian on the other side of the internet world. Probably a good move. Part of me, whenever I see these stories, I want to just say that the person is stupid. But you got to understand the elderly don't think the same as when they did even like just a handful of years prior. You know, I understand. Total of the suspects reportedly stole money from the elderly using romance scams, investment fraud, and business email compromises. A total of 34 Nigerians were indicted by federal grand juries in the northern and eastern districts of Texas. They're always Nigerians, though. How come we don't hear about this from the Somalis or the Ethiopians or the Kenyans, you know? It's like each different African nation is known for something different, like Somalians. They're known for starving. And Kenyans are known for running. But the Nigerians, you know, they hang their hat on romance scams. The suspects range from 23 to 53 years old and include ladies as well. 11 suspects were indicted, while the remaining individuals were indicted in another district. According to the Northern District's indictment, the 11 suspects targeted the elderly on dating sites like Match.com, Christian Mingle, J-Swipe, and Plenty of Fish using fake identities. So very mainstream. After earning the victim's trust, the defendants allegedly lied about needing money for various reasons and taking money out of the victim's accounts, tens of thousands of dollars at a time. Do any of your folks, any of you listen to this show, any of your folks go on dating sites? But not all of you have a wife backup like I do. Like, I'm not kidding you. I already have my wife backup. I have the endorsement of my wife. I know this sounds weird. I have the endorsement of my wife and my kids have already endorsed that Mrs. Velt is going to be my wife because I'm not going to grow up. I'm not going to grow old alone. If, in the unlikely event that something ridiculous were to happen to my sweet wife, well, you know, you have mourning period for extended time, but then I am going to marry Mrs. Velt. And everybody's on board. She's on board. Diana's on board. The kids are on board. So it'll be Sherry and Eric if anything happens to Pooh Bear. Okay, now that's going to be weird. It's going to be a real adjustment, but damn it, you need companionship. So I have a wife backup. It's like I have two wives, except I can't really touch one. I'm not even kidding. Crimes like these are especially despicable because they rely not only on victims' lack of internet savvy, but also their isolation, their loneliness, and sometimes their grief. Oh, this is so sad. As the victims open their hearts, the perpetrators open their wallets, said acting U.S. Attorney Parag Shahs. The only mistake these victims make is being generous to the wrong people. All 11 suspects were arrested during a large-scale operation just a couple of weeks ago. They have been charged with multiple financial crimes, including conspiracy to commit wire fraud, blah, 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 blah. An additional 23 Nigerians were arrested and indicted in the area on similar charges. At least $17 million. Wow. The FBI says that more than 20,000 people lost more than $600 million, wow, in romance scams last year. In both indictments, the defendants faced 20 years in federal prison. Those charged with money laundering conspiracy faced an additional 10 years in federal prison. Holy. Stevie says, man, I have so many questions. Okay, fire away. Fire away on my backup arranged marriage. Let's see. The Duchess writes, I am the president of my local civic association. Lots of seniors. All of them are targeted weekly.
some daily.
Stevie says, I also control my mom's checkbook, so it won't happen to my mom. Good. Stevie says, is Mr. Velt on board? Mr. Velt is no longer in the picture. Mr. Velt is not affiliated with Mrs. Velt in any way. So Mrs. Velt is, in fact, single. Dirk says, you might as well bring Sherry into the bedroom so Pooh can show her what you like. Oh, they'd like that. They would like that. And I said, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I am not on board with that. Stevie, you've been at the house when Mrs. Velt was there. Stevie probably met her. Let's see. Will this be a throuple? No. It's completely very good friend of the family who, if she would be a wonderful companion for me. It's already been taken care of. It's like an arranged backup marriage. That's exactly what this is. Kevin says you can look, you just can't touch. Don't want to. I have a wife. Let's see. Get her on the podcast, says Adam. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. I can't just spring that on her. Rob says, do you get a test drive? No, I don't get a test drive. I'm not marrying her for sex, you fucking moron. If she meets someone else, well, then that would be a bummer. I would be back to square one, which is all hypothetical. Diana is probably going to outlive me anyway. All right. Andrea's mom goes on dating sites. She says she's super careful. Yeah, as long as she isn't involved with someone who tries to steal her money. Well, I'd be a bummer for the person on the other end because I know ultimately they'd have to answer to you and you would hunt them down. And that is a place that I don't think that they want to be in, frankly. Andrea says, I thought I was your backup wife. Well, Andrea, that cannot be because you're married to Mr. Schaefer. Kenny says, so Miss Velt, so she's single right now. You stay away. Stay away. Okay? Am I the only person who has a wife backup? I mean, I thought everybody did this. My God. Okay. Who sent me the story about the kidney transplant? Oh, Bleeding Heart Brian. Very good. Well done. This is incredible. U.S. surgeons, first of all, let me just tell you, there is a huge shortage of kidneys. Obviously, I'm well aware of that. I think the outrageous number of people who are waiting on a kidney right now, a life-saving kidney transplant, is incredible. 107,000 people in the United States are waiting for organ transplants. More than 90,000 of them are awaiting a kidney, according to the United Network for Organ Sharing. Wait times for a kidney average 3 to 5 years. What that means is that some of these people that are at the position in their life like Jeffrey was in before the kidney transplant, he would not live that long. He was going to die shortly, in a matter of months if the kidney transplant did not go down. Oh, hell, he said he was going to kill himself. But he would have died anyway. It was that bad. Holy shit. Listen to this. Scientists have figured out a way to take a kidney out of a pig, but not just any pig, a genetically modified pig. Okay? That because in the past when they've tried taking a kidney out of a pig and put it into a human, well, not a human, actually a primate, a test primate, as close as they could get to a human, very short order, the primate's body rejects the kidney, attacks it, and then it's not functional in very, very quick amount of time. So they're like, how do we do this? What the fuck can we do? So they've been working on this, and they decided that in order to make this a possibility, they had to genetically modify the pig, like change something to do with the mapping in the pig's DNA. It might get into it a little bit more in this article. It says here, the genes in the pig had been altered so that its tissues no longer contained a molecule, which is a trigger for almost immediate rejection. So almost like gene therapy on the pig. All right. So then they take the pig and they remove a kidney from the pig. Like, all right, now we're going to put it into a recipient, but not a primate. What they did was surgeons at NYU Langone Health in New York City were able to get the approval of a family who had a loved one that is brain dead with no chance of recovery. And they put the genetically modified pig kidney into this person, and it worked. This is huge. This is incredibly sad. You have a person who's dead, but I mean, my God, what a honorable, terrific way to, because they then removed the patient from life support, and then the patient, as I understand it, passed. But this is absolutely incredible that the organ transplant took place, and a major advancement in to alleviate the shortage of human organs for transplant. I take it back. The kidney. Actually, I didn't cover this. The recipient had trouble with kidneys. Their kidneys. The patient who was brain dead had signs of kidney dysfunction, and they, of course, consented to the experiment before she was due to be taken off of life support. And for 3 days, the new kidney was attached to her blood vessels and maintained outside of her body, giving researchers access to it. Test results looked very normal. Hell, if that thing made it 1 hour, it would be more of a success than what they've had for other results in the past. And the fact that they actually tested it on a human is remarkable. You see, what this boils down to is sometimes you can actually, I know you like to do your own research on shit, but there are people in the world that are medical professionals who know more than you and can actually accomplish things, beyond your scope of what you believe can possibly happen. Now, I know the way we do it in this world is by ignoring doctors and doing it on your own. WebMD, prayer warriors, gut feeling, conspiracy theories. I know that's the tried and true method. But sometimes you have to let science try things out. And congratulations, the science community has won one. Unbelievable. Anyway, the kidney made, quote, the amount of urine that you would expect from a transplanted human kidney. He said there was no evidence of the vigorous early rejection seen when unmodified pig kidneys are transplanted into non-human primates. The recipient's abnormal creatinine level, an indicator of poor kidney function, I've discussed that with you before, went to normal soon after the transplant. When I donated the kidney to Jeffrey, his was at 22. It's supposed to be at 1. Within a week, he was at 0.98. So there you go. That's fantastic. Researchers have been working for decades on the possibility of using animal organs for transplants, but have been stymied over how to prevent the immediate rejection by the body. The medical team, science, theorized that knocking out the pig gene for a carbohydrate that triggers rejection, a sugar molecule or glycan called alpha-gal, would prevent the problem, and they were correct. Yes! The genetically altered pig, known as GalSafe, they called it GalSafe. I don't know what that means. Was developed by United Therapeutics Corp's Revivacor unit. You know, big pharma. Yeah, I know what this is. This is all a scam by big pharma. I'm a stupid asshole. Hey, we've found a way to cure your loved one's kidney disease. They're going to die otherwise. United Therapeutics Corp's Revivacor unit has a pig kidney. Fuck no, man. I got a prayer chain all over it. It was approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration in December of 2020 for use as food for people with a meat allergy and as a potential source of human therapeutics. Medical products developed from the pigs would still require specific FDA approval before being used in humans, the agency said. Well, you know it's all a scam. They're just going to rush it. I'm a stupid fuck. The NYU kidney transplant experiment should pave the way for trials in patients with end-stage kidney failure. No way! It hasn't been tested properly. We haven't waited. The current experiment involved a single transplant, and the kidney was left in place for only 3 days. So future work likely will uncover new barriers that they may need to overcome. But overall, they think that the prognosis of this is pretty good. Nice. So if that's the case, you fast forward to however far down the road, you're looking at basically just get in on the ground floor on your pig harvesting and have your farm of genetically modified pigs ready to go, and you're basically going to end the need for people to be on a waiting list for kidneys if this is the case. So it's really cool. Thank you to Brian for sending that in. All right. That felt good. The Duchess says, thank goodness for the prayer chains. They solve all the woes in the world. Andrea says, I just skipped that whole story to get caught up, and I'm not complaining. Dirk says, so to get this straight, this ought to be good. They performed an experiment on one person. They didn't just start doing this on millions of people at once with a huge propaganda effort. Oh, you're so sweet. What are you going to do when you win your Herman Cain Award? I cannot wait to TP your house when you're laying there choking on your own lungs. You fucking moron. Holy shit. Chris says a friend of his had a heart valve from a pig way back in elementary school. All right. There you go. That is it for today, folks. You are the best. Dr. Steve, if you're listening, I want your thoughts on this. Eric at EricZaneShow.com. We got to get you on the show, Dr. Steve. All right, folks. We'll talk to you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. My gosh. Look where the time has gone. Another edition of Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. Final thoughts. If you have a business and you want to advertise with me, I'll tell you how it works. Reach out on the Shoreliners Striping inbox, Eric at EricZaneShow.com. I do cameos for $20. Cameo.com/Eric Zane. No one does cameos better. Go to Cameo.com/Eric Zane. See some of my work. It's fun to just kick that around. I've got T-shirts for sale on my website, EricZaneShow.com, as well as Deer Meathead coffee mugs and T-shirts and hoodies. And hoodies, hey, it's hoodie weather, for God's sake. EricZaneShow.com is where you go for that. Keep me in mind on Patreon, patreon.com/Eric Zane. You can sign up for 7 days free. 7 days free. I just posted new material there today. 2 very awesome, fun episodes that I titled Something to Listen to While I'm Away. Let's see, Thursday, Friday, the 5th and 6th. 6 hours of material that you've never heard before on Patreon that you are going to love. Bonus shows. I'm telling you, you will have so much fun. You must go there for the 7 days free to check out these episodes that I'm dropping Thursday the 5th and Friday the 6th of October. Okay, thank you for checking out Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. If you made it this far, you're a legend. Thank you. Till next time. Bye-bye.